Right, okay, issue 21 of Combat Patrol, and we are entering the Eldar, or uh, Aeldari, as it's more properly known now. Of course, I speak from an old gamer and I keep calling them the Eldar, but of course it's the Aeldari, if I'm saying that correct. Now, this is the Farseer, and I'm really looking forward to painting up some Eldar because I want to push my ability to paint. I never pretend that I am an amazing world-class painter. I'm not. I hope through my tutorials to show people that you know you can do an all right job and be happy with whatever skill level you have. And some of us will never unfortunately be masters. It doesn't mean you don't try. Anyway, I really want to push myself on this because there's something beautiful about the way that they have these lovely pieces of armor, the long flowing robes, the way that they grow in essence their armor and weapons and things like that. It's quite an interesting concept with the Aeldari. Anyway, so let's have a look at the model in a minute, but let's just have a quick look what we get in issue 21. I will be disappointed if there's not actually some actual lore in this about them, because if there's no information about them, it'll just be a shame. Do you know what I'll do first though? I'll have a quick look at this. So this is a battle map by the look of it, and let's see. We have a combination of industrial on one side, and then on the other side we have what appears to be a kind of well, we got ferns, so possibly a primeval world where it's sort of primal world where it's just kind of getting plant life growing in it. Could potentially even be an Aeldari maiden world. Maiden worlds, of course, being something you'll learn about with the Aeldari, where they're basically worlds where they plan on colonizing them. Okay, let's have a good look though. Inside, so we've got a battle map, which is cool, and then of course you can just tell by this here we've got our kind of really good look at the way these are. You've got the art, and then of course you've got the way it actually looks. You can get different looks to Farseers if you have a look around. It would have been nice if we had other head options on this, but it doesn't look like we do, unfortunately. Right, how to build. So it's gluing required, but I know from this kind of kit they tend to go together really easily as well, so it should be a quick build with stuff like this. And you can see it's only like it's barely a full page of instructions really when you consider just that part and that part. Painting. Now I'm in a bit of a pickle about painting because I actually like this colour of Craft World, but I also have considered palette swapping. So pretty soon we're going to get some Chaos Space Marines, and as far as I'm aware we're going to be painting them as the Black Legion. I might do a palette swap again and show you how to paint up Craft World, Ulthwer, and the Red Corsairs with the Chaos Space Marines. So that is something I'm really tempted to do because I like the idea of doing that. But I also want to kind of not limit the paints that I'm using because I really want to do some special stuff on this. I'm going to push my skills to the very limit. You will see how bad I am at painting when I try and do something more than just put flat colours on. You probably have already worked out from watching my videos. I don't have a steady hand, unfortunately, due to fibromyalgia and spinal problems. Anyway, so we do have our how to paint this guide, Using the colours we've got so far, which is nice. I like the colour choices they've gone on this one. Okay, yeah, we got a bit of lore about the Aeldari, which of course we would expect. If you decide to collect the Aeldari as well, you will find that they have these aspects. So they have like their kind of main core colours for their guardians and their farseers, but then they have these aspects like the howling banshees, the void, the warp spiders, I think they're called. Those tend to be done in different colours. So I think it's worth remembering as well that the Aeldari are a good faction if you want to practice a range of colours. So, you know, have a good read through. We've got a little bit of fluff about the Immaterium and how that is navigated. We have this little bit of a read. So we've got some nice lore in this. I'm very pleased about that. Because I think it's important when we're getting a new faction to expand our knowledge of the universe. Our bits about collecting, we've got our data sheet about the Farseer. I'm hoping that we will get actual card data sheets eventually for all of the factions. Right, what else do we have here? Right, we've got this scenario behind enemy lines, which has Termagant versus the Farseer. Now, you may think that that's potentially a very one-sided battle if that many Termagants are heading towards one Farseer, but it just tells you how powerful a Farseer is. Right, so we do have a little kind of fight going on. I'm terrible for actually getting around to doing my my battles, and I really want to get around to doing them. Right, okay, before I finish off then, you can see here the kind of being a tease, so to speak, about what we've got here. Now, as you can see here, this seems to be the craft world that we're painting up, and this is the Black Legion. So it seems to me that doing a palette swap on them is going to be a fun experiment, because then I can potentially do Craft World Ulthwer. I'm sure it's Craft World Ulthwer. And potentially the Red Corsairs, but if I'm going for red, I could also potentially go for a Cornate warband. That's different from the World Eaters. The World Eaters are very specifically a set of Chaos Space Marines who are berserkers. Whereas simply being Khorne aligned is different. So again, I might look at potentially doing something unique with my Chaos Space Marines as well. So we'll see how I feel as I go along. But I've really want to limit myself to the colours that we're getting within Combat Patrol as well, so that I'm not, you know, I'm basically showing you what you can do with the colours that we've got available to us. Okay. What's coming up? Well, got the paint issue that I've still got to show you, but we've got a double issue coming up next time as well of Eldar Guardians, and again, that'll be a nice little bit of fun to paint them up. Right, let's have a look at the actual Farseer. Now, of course, a Farseer is tiny compared to a Space Marine. Space Marines are, by definition, huge. Eldar tend to be tall and very thin. They are space elves. There is no other way to put it. That is their thing. You will see some nice little things that I like on these sculpts. You'll see these kind of little, like, sort of little gems. Now, they are frequently soul stones, where they keep the souls of dead Aeldari, because if they don't store the souls of dead Aeldari, they get eaten by Slaanesh. Now, for those of you who collect Age of Sigmar or Old World, you will also know that High Elves, Sylvaneth, what are they called now? Basically Aelfs, they actually do also have soul stones, but they're not quite inferred as being that, if memory serves, in the old world and the fantasy. But the logic is the same. Elven souls are delectable to Slaanesh. I have a fan theory that the old world and the realms are either worlds trapped in the warp or a psychic imprint of the real world. I actually believe that the old world is a testing ground for the old ones from Warhammer 40k. Everything seems to fit with that hypothesis that the elves that are on the old world, and even the ones that the Age of Sigmar, are basically exiles from 40k, basically, or a version of elves that were created by the old ones on the old world. Anyway, so you can see certain aesthetics basically from the Eldar to the High Elves and the Aeldari, and even the Sylvaneth, with their idea of having like the souls of dead elves put into the trees is actually so in keeping. And that's what these little, I'm waffling on here, but that's what these little gems are. They're souls, and I just love that. Just love it. I think it's amazing. And with the Aeldari, you get lots of lovely long flowing robes. So there we go. That is issue number 21, and I love it because I get to paint something different for once. Because you know, I'm very Imperial Guard based. I'm very Horus Heresy based. I've got my Tyranids, but it's nice to have something other to paint, other alien, and something that's going to allow me to practice things like blending colours on robes and things like that. So stay tuned for me not doing an amazing job at blending, but maybe by watching you'll learn how not to do it and do it right yourself. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you when I build this.